Appreciate everybody taking the time to watch this video. It means that you want to participate in our beta. We're hoping that everybody enjoys it and gets creative. Anyways, I'm going to make a brief kind of demo just to kind of guide you through on how to create a contract. So we will be supplying you with obviously the URL, which you can see here, and make sure that you're connecting with your whitelisted wallet that you sent through the form. So once you have your Metamask connected, go to your Metamask, go to your wallet, and make sure that it's connected to the website. And then you can click on login with Metamask. Sign your transaction. And if you get a little red box here, it means you're probably using the wrong wallet, or you sent in the wrong wallet for the whitelist. Or if you're still getting it and you're sure you sent the right wallet, just message myself or Trevor and we'll get it sorted out. So I've already created an event just to do a little bit of testing myself, but we'll go through this quick. So the first thing you're going to want to do, very first thing, is you're going to want to deposit your mod testnet tokens into your profile, because there's a staging process. So in order to get into your profile, just click on the little avatar here, and then you will see all your information. So you don't need to worry about depositing FTM. That will actually be gone in the future anyways. We just need to deposit mod. So click on deposit tokens, and if you want, you can deposit all of your tokens just by clicking on the max, and it'll pre-fill that for you, or just put in a small amount for now. However, I do recommend putting in a good amount. You can always withdraw them if you wanted to. I mean, you're just using them for testing anyways. So, but it does take 24 hours for the staging process before you can actually use those funds. So the next step is obviously to approve the transaction, approve the spending of the tokens to deposit them. And a second pop-up will come up automatically once the first one's done, and this is to confirm the deposit. Okay, once the tokens are deposited, you'll see them here. So I did previously deposit 10,000 tokens in staging, and they will be available in 23 hours and 59 minutes. So unfortunately, when I deposited another 5,000 just now, it reset my available in time back to 24 hours. So that's why I recommend maybe just depositing all your tokens now, and then you don't have to go through this process again. It's all available when you need them. So it'll tell you total deposited amount and when they're going to be available. And unfortunately, we have to wait until that time elapses to start actually validating data. However, that gives us a good chance and a good opportunity for you guys to create events. We need events to validate. So what we're going to do is create an event. This is where you guys can get creative. I'm just going to show you a really basic example because I don't want to steer you guys in any sort of direction. I want you guys to use your own creativity, because we're also going to be doing some bounties as well for the most creative contracts. So the first thing I'll do is create a new event. Event title. This is just going to be an example. And then a description. Please try to be as descriptive about the event as possible. This is just about the overall data. So if you're collecting lots of data points based on the same topic or event, this is just the description of the overall, the general description of it. If you'd like, you can click on here, custom thumbnail, and you can add your own little thumbnail for the event. So next, we're just going to choose the standard Oracle. These ones are not active currently. So when does the event take place? So this is when the actual event starts. So we will set the time and the date of the starting of the event, and the next one will be when the data will be available. So if the event, let's say, starts tomorrow, but it doesn't end until after the weekend, then you want to make sure you set your data available date for after all the data is in and is collectible. So in this case, I'm actually just going to set this up for tomorrow, and then you guys can validate it after your tokens are out of staging. So something important to know about this too, the time is default by like your actual time zone. So if you're using a VPN, there's a chance that this could be showing the wrong time. You can just click on this and choose your correct time, your time zone there. It just kind of helps when you're going through everything, so you don't have to convert everything to UTC all the time. When can the providers retrieve the data? So like I said, if the event starts but it lasts for a few days, this is where you're going to put the date that the data will be available. So it has to be at least a minimum of 5 minutes after the event starts. So in this case, if we go 3:05, that's kind of the minimum that we can do with that. Yeah. So please enter time 5 minutes greater than the event start. So in this case, I actually have to go to 3:06. Okay. So I'm just going to add some data, really basic example. So this is going to be example 1. Okay, so here's obviously your title for the data, and then you're going to want to have this as your description. Please be descriptive as possible. We also have these tool tips to help you out too if you need any help understanding what exactly you need to put in here. And then we also have thumbs up, thumbs down. So if the tool tip helped, please give it a thumbs up so we know. If it didn't help and it left you asking more questions than when you started, give it a thumbs down and we'll figure out what the problem is. Okay, next we can create groups of data sets. If we want to create a group, like I always use this example, a hockey game for example, then you can create like a scores group, or you can create like a goals group or things like that. So then it doesn't really make too much of a difference. It's just more organization. So if you want to create a group, just click on it, name the group name, group 1, and then select it from the drop down and then click next. If you wanted to create more groups, you can go create all your groups at once here if you wanted to, and then you have your groups here. You can click on them. So in this case, I'll just add it to group 1. What is the format of the data you are requesting? So whether it is a single value like a person's name or a number or anything like that, if it's just a single value, then obviously choose single value. Ordered list of values would be like if you're doing like a tournament and you wanted to know who placed first, second, third, then you'd choose order list of values. In this case, we're just going to go with a single value. What type of data is needed? Also, please, if you notice any grammar or spelling or anything like that, please bring it to our attention as well. There's lots of parts, moving parts to this system, so there might have been a few things that we missed. So from here, you just choose if you would like to use a number or a name or words or a string, anything like that. So in this case, we're just going to do a name. So for strings, we need to list the possible outcomes. So whatever the outcomes are, potential outcomes, make a list of them, add them to this list, and then proceed. So in this case, we'll just use names. Alright, so we've got a list of possible outcomes. Next. So here you're going to want to double check that all the information you've typed in is correct. You will have a chance to go back and edit it if you do notice something after the fact, which is nice. So your data group, it'll tell you the group that this data set is going to be in, your data label, the data type, and then obviously your constraints, which are your possible outcomes. In this case, we don't have units, so there's no unit for this. And then the data description. Okay, so we've created our first data request. You can also add more. You can add multiple requests under the same contract. But typically you'd want to keep them associated with the same event. So if it's something completely different, then I highly suggest that you just create a brand new event and start from scratch with that. You need to add more data. You can click here, click on add, and it'll just start the process over again. If you need to edit, just click on edit. It'll go back through and you can make your changes. Once you're done, get to the point you want to change, you're done, hit done, and then move on. So the URL where the providers are supposed to get the data from, you can add multiple URLs here. The more the better, obviously, so you're not relying on one source of data. Going to use the website for now as an example. Okay. Once you click add, it's going to ask you to select the data set that the URL applies to. So if you have multiple data sets, it's going to show multiple options. And so then you can set a URL for each individual data set if you wanted to. So if there was a tournament, for example, and there was different parts of the website that gave you different information, you could link directly to that specific part that's going to give that person the data. So in this case, let's check all, and we're not going to add any more. All right, so security, data security, and fee estimates. So input the level or the value of collateral required for providers to stake. So this is a value from $100 to $5,000 currently. Minimum is $100. So this is just what the providers are going to have to put up as a stake, collateral stake, to be able to provide the data. So in this case, I am just going to put 100. Choose the length of time. Users with financial stake in the contract can dispute the data. So here also makes a difference on the fees, so keep that in mind. But we have basically 4 hours all the way up to 10 hours currently. We will be adding longer dispute times too. But basically the lower amount of hours for dispute time, your fees are a little bit less than if you were to choose like 24 or 48 hours, for example, because then that kind of requires the providers to be locked up for that period of time. So there's more incentive. They get paid out at a higher rate if if the dispute time is higher. And then choose the number of provider triads to use for each data set. So triads is basically just groups of threes. It'll tell you, so you can slide over how many triads you want. In this case, 2 triads will be a total of 6 providers, or 1 triad is 3 providers. I'm just going to stick with 1 for now. There you go, this 3 providers. Actually, you know what? I'll bump this one up a little bit so I'll give you guys all a chance to provide for this data set. And then at the bottom here, it just shows you the total number of data sets, the estimated provider fee, the estimated platform fee, and the estimated total cost. And that's all in the native token for the chain. So once we hit next, It'll take us to our event details page. Basically just everything that you filled out, it's all going to be on here now. And you'll have a chance to double check and make sure everything looks good before it actually gets deployed. So make sure that your times are right. The data available is correct. It'll show your address, and then it'll show the validator address once it's actually deployed, and the base collateral per provider. And then obviously the rest of the information here. So the nice thing is you can come in here and you can just click on the edit button, and it takes you right to the possible outcomes or whatever you need to edit. And then you don't have to go through the whole process again. So this asterisk here just tells you that the time here showing here is in this time zone. So this would have been this is actually your computer time zone. So like I said before, if you're on a VPN, it's probably going to show a different time zone. So just keep that in mind. So if we're deploying a contract, we're going to need to add some FTM in this case to pay for the fees. So I'm just going to click deploy contract. Estimated cost to deploy the contract is 68. That's 68 FTM. Do you wish to deploy? Yes. So now what we're doing is we're sending in that amount of FTM. Wait for confirmation. And then now we're actually creating the contracts and setting the details within that contract. So now you can see it's actually deployed. Here's our validator address. And then this is the contract progress. So you'll see this bar kind of move as people start to stake for providing data, and if they provided, and if it's finalized. So nice little graph to see the progress on this. We have the time remaining before you can actually start staking on the data. So essentially that is the time when the data is available. So this button is not clickable until this period has come. So that'll be available for you guys once you actually go through the staging process of your tokens, then you'll be able to stake and provide. And I will make another video of staking and providing because I'm also waiting to go through the staging with my tokens too. So, but on here you can see the groups too. So the groups are organized on the side here. And if you had more data sets, it'd also be organized down here too. So then you can click through them nicely organized. Okay, so this contract, like I said, is deployed. There's some things that you can still edit before the event has started. Once the event has started, some things cannot be changed, some of the information. Now here's kind of a little trick, little tip for you guys. If you're creating multiple contracts and they have kind of the same idea, principle behind them, they're using the same kind of data formats and such, you can actually export a created contract. So if you already created a contract for like a tournament, for example, and there's another tournament that's happening too, and it's the same kind of layout, it's requesting the same kind of information, you can export it. All you do is click on export, and then it will download it. It's a CSV file. You take the CSV file and you put it into Google Sheets or Excel, and then you can make your changes there. Obviously, you got to make sure you change your date on there too. And then once you've made your changes that you like on there, all you do is you go to the home page, and then you go and click on import, and then you can make sure that you save that file again as a CSV file, and then you can import that CSV file, and then it'll show up here as not deployed. So all you got to do at that point is you just got to click on it and then go down to the event details page and click on deploy. So nice and easy, fast way. You don't have to click through all the stuff like we did if you're creating contracts and requests that are very similar to one another. So last thing that I want to kind of point out is the name and avatar. So if you click on your profile there, you can actually click on your avatar and you can change your avatar picture and your name too. So the names are unique. So make sure if you have a name you want to use, then you set your name right away and then nobody else can take it. And then if you want, you can change your avatar. The thing is too, is like at this point in time, there's not much need to use the avatar. They're not being shown in public or anything like that. It's just more for yours, like your own sake, right? So maybe you have a couple different accounts and you just want to be able to tell the difference between them. Completely up to you. So, and that's basically the end of the example. Wish you guys luck, and thanks again for helping us out. We will post some links to a form for feedback. We will also try to get Discord going too. I know not everybody's on Discord, so it's kind of tough, but we're definitely going to have a form for feedback for bugs and such. There's going to be bounties for that, and there's going to be a scavenger hunt as well, which will be fun. It'll kind of help you guys learn a little bit more about the system, asking questions about how to do certain things, that kind of thing, and you validate that. So you'll be providing the data for that. So you'll be basically, doing these fun little scavenger hunts and such, and learning at the same time as actually earning mod. So, all right, thanks guys.